Wow.
Welcome to our first test podcast. Now this is Kim's kitchen, and here we have Kim, and she is making...
I'm making my usual muffins. I'm making a batch for Kimmy. So they've got ordinary flour in them. And I'm chopping up some mandarin to put in because Kim's had banana muffins for two or three goes in a row. So to make these ones a little bit different, I put some banana in because I had to use up banana. But I'm also putting, nearly put a seed in there. I'm also putting some mandarin in there for a bit of variety. The only trouble with the mandarins is they've got lots of seeds which I've had to pull out. As you can see, there's lots of seeds there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That'd be a bit bitter if you bite on them, huh?
Well, not good for the teeth. I don't know about bitter, but not good for the teeth. But I think I've got them all out there.
So what's in the mixture so far?
So far I've put in some brown sugar, which although it says, have a look on here, it says dark brown sugar, but for some reason this packet of brown sugar is a bit light. So these muffins will be a bit lighter looking than some of the other muffins that I make for him. I've got 2 eggs in there, and I've got 1/3 of a cup of rice bran oil.
Right.
Okay, and I've stirred those all around, and then I've got 2 squashy bananas that were in the fridge, and I've mashed those. The easiest way to start the mashing off is to leave them in their skins and bang them with your hand, and then when they're all squashy you put them in here and then squash them against the side of the bowl, and that's what I've done there. Right. And now I'm just deciding whether to put in some more mandarin.
What's the liquid in there? Or did you already say?
That's just from the oil, the egg, and the fruit that's in there. So there's no liquid in there at all at this stage. The liquid goes in last, in fact. So now I'm going to add in a cup of flour. Well, a cup and 1/3 actually, but a cup to start with. Always a bit dicey doing it like this because the flour falls out and then you've got too much. So there's a cup, 1 cup, and 1/3. That'll do for 1/3. There. The trick with flour is that you don't press it down, you just leave it fluffy, but when it's with brown sugar you press it down so it's a full cup.
Right.
And stir that in. Then I'm going to add in some of Kim's favourite dried fruit, which is craisins. One of the tricks with muffins is not to stir them too much.
So it knock the air out of it so that it doesn't rise.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is that it does, but it's best not to stir them too much. So now here I've got some craisins, and I'm going to put a pile of those in. I don't usually measure them, I just chuck a whole pile in. Stir them in, and lastly, before the milk, I'm going to get some pecan nuts. And I'm going to put in about that much. And you can chop them, but I quite like breaking them up with my fingers. Something a bit sort of fun about being able to do that. Same with when I'm making my muffins, I put dates in them. I usually pull them apart with my hands. I've got the oven already warm. Oops. At about 180 degrees. stir those in. Then I'm going to slop in half a cup of milk.
Rice milk this case, is it?
It's rice milk in this case.
Can you do it with ordinary milk?
Yes, you can do it with ordinary milk.
Same quantities are good.
Same quantities. Good thing about this recipe is it lends itself to a lot of variations. And cooking's hot work. I'm just going to strip off my top.
Dun, dun, dun. So it gets quite sloppy, doesn't it?
It's quite sloppy. And that's one of the main differences between muffins and cupcakes, for example. So I'm just now clearing myself a space because it's a bit crowded in this kitchen room, so I'm just clearing myself a space. And I'm going to line the tin, the muffin tin that it's going in, so I'm just going to get some water. The easiest way to do this is to buy ready-made muffin cases, but
I think these work even better actually because they're easier to get off.
that's why I like these, and that's exactly why I use them. So I just wet them slightly to make them easier to shape into the hole. I don't worry about them staying in there too much because once the mixture is poured in there, they stay down, so that's alright. I'll just go through and do them all. I started using the baking paper, which I cut up previously before starting the mixture. But this is what I use. I use the baking paper, and I cut it up into pieces about this big. And I dip it into the water and then squash it into...
Couldn't you make the tails a little bit smaller on the paper?